Dating apps are not for us. Saturday, April 5th, 7 p.m., virtual date night for Christian singles. One night only. Virtual date night. Are you looking for love with purpose? Join us for a special virtual date night for single Christians open to a courtship that leads to marriage. Email us your pic to secure your spot to stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.
Women in Ministry, an anthology by Stephanie M. Seaton, featuring co-authors Apostle Patrick L. Taylor, Pastor Latoya Harris, Minister Melody Carter, Elder-elect Nathaniah Simeon, Tracy D. Hill, Elena Maria, and Tanisha Priolo, a powerful collection of testimonies, faith, and purpose. Women in Ministry is more than just a book. It's a testament to the strength, resilience, and unwavering faith.
Get your copy of The Church Girl by acclaimed author Stephanie Seaton. This compelling story follows a young woman's journey of redemption through faith and community after straying from the path of righteousness. Rediscover her purpose and meaning in life. Available now on popular online book sites. Don't miss out on The Church Girl, a transformative tale resonating with the power of faith and self-discovery.
Thank you for tuning in. A live stream new episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show will be starting soon. With your host, minister, and author Stephanie M. Seaton. If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.
Hello, and welcome to our Thursday night episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. I am your host, Stephanie M. Seaton. I'm so happy that you have tuned in with us tonight. Tonight, we have author Royce Dixon Sr. and we have Miss Lisa Dixon, and I am just so happy to welcome them. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, I'm so happy that it finally got here, right?
Right.
We met at the end of last year at the National Black Book Festival, and they are a part of She Publishing. I was just in awe of all of the writers and the publishers from She Publishing. But they have an amazing story that we're going to hear about tonight. As well as hearing about their brand. They've got a lot of amazing things going on tonight. So go ahead, like, tag, share. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show here on YouTube so you can keep up with all of the upcoming episodes. So listen, I'm going to jump right on in there. The very first question that I ask all of my guests, and I'm going to have both of you answer this. Please tell us, who are you?
Who am I? Lisa Dixon, wife, mom, student, employee, sister, auntie, support staff. You name it, I do it. I work 8 hours a day. I come home and
Go to work all over.
And go to work all over again.
I get it.
Clock out over there, clock in over here. I do tell people whenever they ask if I'm going anywhere with Royce for the books, and I say yes, I'm going because I'm support staff. So
yeah,
I support any way that I can.
She makes everything happen.
That's a blessing.
It really is. I'm author Royce Dixon. My full-time job is a bailiff. I'm also an author, photographer, mentor, speaker. I do a little bit of everything. Husband, father, support staff at the church, whatever I can do to be a help.
Yeah.
We try to lend our, if we got time, we try to do what we can.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. All right. Well, I tell you what, it's kind of, some people say it's a loaded question because you guys actually told who you are. A lot of people start with the titles and don't actually say who they are. But, I remember the very first time I got asked that question, I was actually on a podcast and I got asked that question and I was like, So it kind of makes you think, right?
It does.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of read a little bit about Mr. Royce's bio, and then we are going to kind of kick off things. We're going to start with kind of learn a little bit more about your family life. I know that you came from Illinois.
Yes.
You are the middle child of 3 children. So that probably was interesting in itself.
It really was, growing up, being the middle child, and there's 5 years in between the 3 of us, all of us.
Okay.
We grew up really close to my sister. She's the oldest. And we had a good relationship going. And then here comes my brother. And now he's the baby. Now he's getting the attention. So you kind of develop that middle kid syndrome to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But we all worked it out. We're very, very close, all 3 of us, and with everybody. We got adopted brothers and sisters from all over the world, seems like. So.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Happily married 30 years. Now, part of the story here is that you all were high school sweethearts. Some kind of way there was a separation in life, and then you guys reconnected. Now, this 30 years, is that total time or this last time? Or tell us a little bit about that.
So we met just after the year we graduated high school is the year we met.
Okay.
And we married a couple of years after that. And we were married 18 and a half years.
Okay. Okay.
And then we divorced.
Okay.
We were divorced 2 years, 6 months.
Wait, the way she looked. Wait a minute. Lisa, I gotta say, the way you cut your eyes to the side.
2 years, 6 months.
There's a story behind that.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I say we've been married 32 years. I don't want to count the 2 years that we were officially married, but we were together. Like, we got back together maybe 6 months after the divorce, and we've been together ever since.
Right.
So next month, April 10th, we will be remarried 12 years.
Okay.
So it will be a total of 30 years.
A total of 30 years. And that is a blessing. Either side, the 18 or the 12, and put it all together. That is a blessing. Yeah, that is a blessing. So let me go ahead and jump into that. Kind of tell me about the I Still Do. I'm assuming that came from the life ups and downs of marriage and togetherness. Kind of tell us about the I Still Do ministries.
So we kind of use I Still Do ministries as a way of keeping families together, keeping married couples together. We realize that once you say I do the first time, you have to continue to say I do every single day in order to keep your marriage going strong.
Right.
So
right.
After we wrote the book, we decided to start our own ministry, marriage ministry. We thought, what better title than I Still Do, just to remind couples to still continue to do the things that you've been doing when you got married.
Yeah. I truly believe that we choose each other every day. And I say that because every day lends itself to an opportunity for us to neglect one another.
Right.
So we choose each other daily. I still choose you. I chose you today. I'm going to choose you tomorrow. When I walk out the door, I'm going to represent myself as well as you. So I still do.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. And how long have you all had the I Still Do ministries going?
Oh,
we started
2014.
Yeah.
About 2014. About a year after we remarried.
Okay. Okay, that is a blessing. Now, just off the top of my head, I'm thinking to myself, did you all think that maybe that was part of the breakup for the purpose of the ministry that would come?
He has said that.
Yeah.
I would like to believe that I didn't have to go through all that to get the lesson. I would
Yeah.
like to believe that I wouldn't have had to.
Yeah.
But I suppose to some certain extent, some lessons you're not going to learn unless you front and center, because
Right.
I wouldn't have any point of reference had I not
Mhm.
gone.
Yeah, because so maybe it wasn't necessarily for you all, but for the couples that you will minister to and that you will come in contact with. Now you are able to say that you actually know and you felt it. You'll be able to actually know exactly how they feel because you actually went through it. So it gives you more credibility with couples.
I think that's definitely true. So many times you hear from people who aren't married or people
Mm,
who have maybe read something in a book,
yeah,
and then they try to teach you how to be married. And how do you
yeah,
know unless you've been through what I've been through?
yeah,
You can have empathy for it, but it's different when you go through it and you have those feelings and that hurt and that
mm,
pain. Now you can truly talk from your heart and people can recognize that it's real what you went through.
yeah, yeah. That's I mean, these days, and I say these days, meaning the society that we live in, people want real testimonies. They want to know that somebody else has been through what they're going through and felt what they felt. So I see that you have two children, a daughter and a son, close knit family. Tell us what that looks like with all the busyness and the hustle and bustle of life and the authorship. So are the kids on the support system, or tell me what's going on?
Well, our children they're adults, so we are empty nesters.
Empty
They
nesters,
don't
okay.
even, yeah, they don't even live in Illinois. So
Okay.
right. So they are grown, completely self-efficient and living their best lives. But I would say that they are definitely supportive. They hurt through this process, even though they were younger or
Hmm.
older rather. When we divorced, our son was 18
Yeah.
and our daughter was 22 at the time. So they were both young adults when the divorce took place. And they still were able to, even though they were both gone, my son was in college, my daughter was in Wisconsin. They both expressed their disappointment and hurt behind it.
Hmm.
My son, being mom's protector, wanted to leave college and come home, and I said, no, you stay where you are and you be an adult, and mom is going to be okay. I think because of their age, they were able to
Process
it a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, they love the reconciliation and seeing us now, and they're supportive of the books and the business and all of that.
And I think unlike other children,
Hmm.
they didn't get mad at one parent or the other. They didn't try to choose sides.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
They never acted different towards me, or they never acted
Right.
different towards Lisa. So I think that's a true testament of their growth. And
Yeah.
And I think also because we were not very vocal about what was going on
Okay.
with the children or anyone else. And I
Okay.
think that helped our children as well, because it
Right.
wasn't a war of the roses. We were not throwing things and,
Right.
it wasn't in the streets, or it wasn't on social media. It
Right.
wasn't politicized, I would
Yeah.
say.
You
most
protected your
so
home.
we got divorced.
Yeah, yeah, that is a blessing, and that's not common. That is not common. So that is a blessing that you guys still protected the home front. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Rockford, Illinois. I know you said a lot of your writing and inspiration is from the community, from the courthouse, the church, the neighborhoods. So kind of tell us how growing up there in Rockford influenced your writing.
I think most people have a negative opinion of Rockford from what they see on the news.
Okay.
But to me, actually, Rockford is what you make it.
Mm.
I had a great upbringing. I love my childhood. And like I said, my family is so close. We would have get-togethers every weekend where everybody's coming over to the house. So family was always important. You know, I grew up going to church every Sunday. We went to vacation Bible school, Sunday school. If the church doors were open, we were in there. Whether we liked it or not growing up, we had to go. My parents made us go to church.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I grew older and I started working in the courthouse, I started seeing so many different things as far as it relates to divorce, why people get divorced, the different ages of divorce. And I think all of that, once we went through the divorce and we got back together, I kind of took all the experiences that I've learned, you know, growing up. I wasn't really in the streets, but I always had friends who were, you know, grew up in the streets or whatever. So I could always hear different stories.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was able to take those experiences and put it all together and create these different books with different characters.
Right.
And they all have life lessons in them.
Yeah.
One book is about forgiveness. The new book that's coming out is about what's the word I want to use? Redemption. One book is about love. You know, so there's different things, different life lessons in every book.
Okay. I can tell y'all been married a long time. You said, Lisa, what's the word I want? You looked at Lisa. What is the word I want to use?
Right. Because she knows me. She'll like.
And I'm thinking I'm not gonna jump in because this is his interview.
Listen, y'all be free to be free, okay? That was cute. He said, "What's the word?" No, that is cute. So let's talk about Blessed While Broken. Let's talk about that. What made you decide to write that book? Like, what was the inspiration?
I just wanted to help other people not go through what we went through.
Yeah.
And so I always wanted to write a book. And although this was the second book I had published, it was the first book that I had started writing.
Okay.
And so when I decided that I wanted to help people, I went to Lisa and I asked her, I said, what do you think about me writing this book?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. Because we didn't know how much transparency I was going to put in the book, what I was going to put in the book, and then have to be able to answer questions about it.
Right.
So after I finished writing, and whenever I would get stuck writing that one, I would go to my other book, Hidden Feelings, which was the first one, and just kind of go back and forth between the two. And when Blessed While Broken was ready, I handed it to her like, I want you to read it over and make sure that it's okay before we do anything else with it. Right. But I didn't want to do it without her blessing.
Yeah.
And so after she read it, she's like, are you okay with maybe answering questions about it? I said, I'm fine with it. You know, if we put it in the book, there's enough in the book to show you what happened without telling you everything that happened.
Right.
And so once I wrote it and she gave me the okay, you know, we just went forward with it. And it seems like there were so many people who came to me after they read it, like, I didn't know this about you. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
Or I was going through that same thing and I didn't know who to talk to about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the problem with most of us who go through divorce. We don't talk to anybody about what we're going through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we rather just deal with it internally and end up hurting ourselves in the process.
Right. What is the overview of the topic of the book? Let me have Lisa answer that and then kind of tell us how you felt the first time you read the book.
So the overview of the book is how to recognize your wrongs before you accuse someone of their wrongs. So more of a self-reflection.
Okay.
And then how to hit the reset button.
Yeah.
And not have to go through what we've been through. We've spoken a little earlier about if we would have been here had we not gone through that. Mm-hmm. There is a way, you know, take our testimony as the way. There is a way to not have to do that. Yeah. You know, it was our story. It doesn't have to be the next couple. If you wanted to see what it looks like, if you want to see how to get to the other side without going all the way to the courthouse and back, because you may not make it all the way back. here's some words, here's some ideas, here's some suggestions, here's some scriptures. So that is the overview of the book. You don't have to go as far as where we went. And I think for me, my hesitancy in him writing it was really just that we got it wrong. We didn't make it. So who's gonna listen to us? And then he would say, who better to listen to? The ones that, got it wrong but figured it out. And so when he handed me the book, yes, I definitely wanted it to be as real to hit the mark, but I also, that was still my life. It was still my hurt, and it was what happened within the four walls of our house. So I didn't know, as quiet and as close to the vest as we were, now you want to publish it. It was like that was hard for me, because we do relive it in a sense just by telling the story, or someone who has read the book and then come back and ask the questions. We do have to kind of sit in the decisions that we made and govern ourselves, not just in that time, but in the present time, so that we too do not get back to where we were. So I think that encompasses where I was with the book itself when he wanted to release it, and the intention of the book and what it is aimed to do for couples.
I was thinking to myself, one of the toughest things about being a writer is, well, let me say this, not just being a writer, but the inspiration of writing is based on your life. It's based on experiences, whether good or bad, whether we played the good part or the bad part. And one of the things about it is it causes us to have to relive things that we don't want to relive, because you've got to go back and remember every part of it so that you can express it in the writing. And a lot of times people don't understand that when writers write about things that involve other people as well. It's like, we're trying to let people know, I'm not trying to tell your part, but in order to tell my part, I have to tell a little bit of your part as well. There's things that you just have to get out. Did you find that writing this book was part of the healing process? Because I know when I write, it's literally therapeutic for me. I probably said this 1,000 times. How did this book contribute to the healing process?
It definitely was therapy for me. And just getting things out taught me a lot about myself. It even taught me that I had my own personal hidden feelings that I had to release. It showed me who I was. And then it showed me how to look in the mirror and make adjustments to be a better person, not just for her, but for me as well. Because I truly think that change comes from the inside. If I just changed her, then it would be superficial. And eventually I would go back. And I didn't want to go back. So in writing, I realized the changes that I need to make and how to make them permanently, so that I could be a better person and a better husband.
Tell us the name of some of your other books that you have out right now, and kind of give us a synopsis of a few of your books.
So Hidden Feelings, which was the first book, talks about why men have a hard time expressing themselves, showing their feelings, or showing emotions. And then I wrote a part 2 to that. It's called Hidden Feelings Revealed, where my main character in the first book finally gets help. He goes to talk to a doctor and even opens up to his pastor and learns how to express himself. Now, even though he's an attorney and he talks every day, he uses words for a living, but he couldn't find the words when his mom died to share with his girlfriend. She's the love of his life, and then she breaks up with him because he doesn't know how to open up to her. She kind of felt like a stranger in the house. And so one of the things that I like to talk to people about too is, the old saying, what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Right.
Well, if that's true and that's the case, then if you're hurting, how do you ever get help?
Mm.
We've been taught for years to keep everything in.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I want to get out in the books is that it's okay to talk to people. Find the help that you need.
Yeah.
Whether it's you going to a psychiatrist, which we always found taboo, or go and talk to your pastor, but find somebody, and probably an older person, that can give you that insight that you need to make the changes, the necessary changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, Blessed While Broken is about our marriage, divorce, and then reconciliation. And my new book, A Rose on the Concrete Court, is about redemption. It's a family. The dad grows up. He's a high school basketball star, gets hurt while he's in college. His girlfriend, who's 15 or 16 at the time, she gets pregnant with twin boys. And now the boys are growing up, seeing their dad hustle, and they're trying to be just like him. And so they start making bad choices. One twin wants to go one way, the other twin wants to go the other way. And you start seeing all the cracks in the family dynamic.
Yeah.
And so from there, there's redemption at the end.
Let me ask you, in your writing, you are inspiring, bringing hope to others, heartfelt messages, life lessons. Would you say that this is ministry?
Yes, I would definitely say that. Ministry in a different way. You know, most people just think of ministry as the pastor or somebody gets up in front of the church and speaks. Right. Ministry comes in all different forms, and this is just my way of ministering to other people to help others.
Right, right. I definitely want to mention a couple of amazing milestones that you've reached in your career as a published author, including being recognized as the leading man of She Publishing, both 2023 and 2025.
Very proud of that.
Tell me, how did that feel, and how does that feel? I mean, we all, we bust our butts to do something that we feel like we're called to do, and you do it because it's a passion, I'm sure. And then on top of it, to get recognition for the passion, like, what does that feel like?
It was amazing. It's an amazing feeling. Even now, I still kind of get goosebumps just thinking about it. And I don't know if it really hit me what it meant to be, an award-winning author. I never really spoke it out loud. I never really told anybody about it.
Yeah.
Then I realized, it's one thing to be humble, but how do people know about your work if you don't talk about it? Yeah. Who else is going to talk about it if you don't? Yeah. And so it's an amazing feeling to be the leading man of She. She's a great publishing company. I would highly recommend her to anybody. And it's truly a family. It's not just, you're not just a number on the roster. Yeah. We talk to Shanitha often. We travel with her. We met her family. So it's a great feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I asked him when this year when he signed the contract for A Rose on the Concrete Court. I think that's when I asked him, does it feel any different? This is book number 5. And I asked him, is the excitement the same as when it was book number 1? Because book number 1 is like, I can't believe I did that. When you pick it up and you see your name on the cover, and you can go to Amazon and you can see it, and you go to Barnes and Noble and you can order it, and you see it different places. And so I asked him if he had the same zeal and the same excitement this time, and he said yes, but it took me back a little bit, because when this newfound fame, even local, we grew up in the same town, Rockford, and he knows a lot of people, a lot of people. Even before being a published author, he knows a lot of people because of sports and his family and whatnot. And so to add this to his roster of, and now you worldwide, and now, I remember the first time we were walking through, I think Walmart or somewhere, or Schnucks. I think we're at the grocery store. We're at the grocery store at Schnucks. And someone came up to him and said, "Excuse me, are you Royce Dixon?" I'm looking at him like, yeah, he Royce, and it was so funny because, we get in the car and it's like, wow, and at the time, did we have a dog at the time? I have not. Did we have a dog? And I said, but they know you as the author, and you still take out the trash, you still walk the dog, you still do the poop scoop, all of that. You still a regular person, but to add this to him and see his growth through it all and how he juggles it all is still is exciting. Every time he signs for another book, it is just as exciting as the first. It is.
That's amazing. And you know what? You have to keep that excitement because your readers and your followers, they're looking for that. They're looking for that every time they pick up one of your books. They want to still see that version of you. So it's very important for you to do that. We've got Mr. Carl Roberts. We've got several people that are tuning in to the interview tonight. We've got Mr. Carl Roberts in the house. He says, y'all are a special couple. Glad you guys stayed together. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. So we will have several people that will be chiming in, and we'll show their comments as they chime in while we're going on with the interview on tonight. So what would you say, Royce, to someone that is thinking about writing but doesn't quite know where to get started? What would be your advice?
My advice is everybody's got a story to tell. So what I kind of tell everybody is I keep a notepad in my phone. So even if you just write one line a day or 2 lines a day, whenever you feel inspired to write, take out the notepad, just jot it down real quick. And before you know it, if you do that over some time, before you know it, you got a book. You just got to put it together now.
Yeah.
But everybody's got a story to tell, so why not tell it? If you feel like your story is that good enough, and it's something. If it's something that you want to accomplish, because I always wanted to write a book. I started out wanting to write a comic book. I used to love to draw when I was a kid.
Okay.
But after time went on, I stopped drawing as much, so I kind of lost the skill, the hand-eye coordination for it. But I picked up a camera, and so now my camera is my way of still drawing. So whatever you want to do, go for it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. I can't remember the quote exactly, but it's something to the effect that's, pretty much some of the most amazing inventors and people that have accomplished amazing things, that it would not have happened if they didn't make the first step. That's the paraphrase. I'm making up my own version, okay? But that's the paraphrase is you would never get the final product or the success if you don't actually get started. And so, sometimes this thing can be a walking on water situation, you're trying to figure it out. But, now you have those grocery store moments and all these amazing things going on. And so, we just have to trust the Lord in the process. What do you guys have coming up next? Any events that you're going to be hosting, or what do you have coming up next?
You want to go?
So we will be collaborating on a piece. I don't know what it will be. Individuals have asked me about my side of Blessed While Broken. They want to hear from my perspective. I don't think that's going to be the work. I think we will come up with something.
We're gonna write something together.
We will be writing something together.
I will be going to Indianapolis soon. I think we have another event at the end of this month. We're going to be in right here in Chicago, the Chicagoland area, with another book signing. It's at a book event.
Okay.
And then, of course, probably coming back to Houston again.
And that's in October, right?
Yeah, that's in October. I think it's like the last weekend or either second or fourth weekend in October.
Okay.
And then from there, I'm taking pictures. I'm just whatever I can do to be a help to other people, to be a blessing.
Right.
That's the whole reason why we started Be Blessed Culture. We want to be a blessing to other people.
And that's what it's about. Let's go into that Be Blessed Culture. So I know that encompasses your clothing line and photography. Tell us about Be Blessed Culture.
Be Blessed Culture started out as Be Blessed Clothing. And back in 2017, I had the idea of starting this clothing company.
Okay.
Well, even before that, I've always hated wearing other brands that, like I don't want to say the name, but they don't really mean anything. They don't have a meaning behind it.
Right.
And so I wanted to start something that had a meaning behind it. And so she was like, well, why don't you just design your own logo and go from there? Started doing t-shirts. So we came over with Be Blessed Clothing, and that took off. And then from there, she kept showing me different gifts, and I just started using my gifts, and it went from the clothing line to photography. And I wanted to put everything under one umbrella. So Lisa came up with the idea, why don't you just come up with Be Blessed Culture? And that way it can encompass everything that you do, including your writing, and we have it under one business. Okay. So I thought that was a great idea. So let's go with that. And like I said, Be Blessed Culture is just a reminder to be a blessing to other people. Genesis 12:2 tells us that we are blessed to be a blessing.
Blessed to be a blessing.
So we try to give back any way we can.
And not only that, because culture is a way of living. It's not just a t-shirt.
Right.
It's whether I have the t-shirt on or not, if this is my culture, if I am living in a blessed culture, then you're going to see that regardless if I'm wearing a t-shirt that says blessed. The other day I went into Schnucks and I had on one of our sweatshirts. And I just gotten off the highway. I was so tired. I was delusional. And I walked in, and the woman, she was looking at me and she said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And I am too. And I looked at her like she was.
Yeah.
That's all she said. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And she said, your sweatshirt. And I said, oh, yes. yes, I am. And yes, you are too. But it is truly in the way you carry yourself. It is a culture.
Yeah.
I ran into another lady one day with one of our shirts on, and she stopped me completely. She did not look like me. She didn't look like me, but she saw my shirt, and it wasn't the wings. I believe it was the crown. We have different graphics on the t-shirts, and I believe it was a crown. And the back of it says, at thy right hand stands the queen. And she stopped me and she said, I love that shirt. I said, thank you. And then I started talking to her about it. Yeah. And she said, I'm Christian too. I said, oh, okay. And we're just chopping it up in the aisle. And before we separated, she said, can I give you a hug?
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yes, you can, and it may look odd from any onlooker. It was obvious we really didn't know each other, but to know that we can carry this in our actions, in the way we interact. And I believe it has opened doors that no man can shut.
Yeah. Because that's what it's about. If we say that we love the Lord and we're all saying that we love the same Lord, God the Father, Jesus the Son, the Holy Spirit, we should be able to walk in fellowship with each other. Right. That don't get me on a whole nother subject, but I have a phrase that I say: relationship over religion.
Yes.
When we have relationship with Christ, we can do things like that, embrace people that are different. And we can share in the love of Jesus, and that happens with relationship with Christ. We take on his characteristics.
Yes.
When we just have the religion, the rituals, just the Sunday, Wednesday mentality, then it's not real. It's not personal. It's not, And so that's why we see all the division, because there's so much religion and lack of relationship.
Yes.
But I'm not going to preach tonight. But that story that is amazing, and definitely points to relationship. Before we get out of here, I just want you guys to tell us, what do you say to those couples? Let me see. Hold on. Carl says, what is your site if we want to buy a t-shirt? What is the site for your? Tell you what, go ahead and give your contact information before I answer this next question. Carl wants to know about your t-shirts.
Okay. I'm on Facebook under Royce Dixon Sr. We actually have a Facebook page, Be Blessed Clothing. On Instagram, I'm author Royce Dixon. On Instagram, there's also Be Blessed Clothing. On, let's see, TikTok, I'm author Royce Dixon. Pretty much anything Royce Dixon Sr. you look up and you'll see my face.
Mhm.
Now we do have a website. It's roycedixonsenior.com. We're still in the process of building that website, so we have some work to do with that. I think that's everything.
Okay, so I have put that up on the screen. Be Blessed Clothing. Okay, and again, he said Royce Dixon Sr.
Yes.
So definitely check out the website, the Facebook, where you can be a supporter of the books, of the brand. And where are your books available?
My books are all available on Amazon. And also, if you want my latest book, the book that's out now, Hidden Feelings Revealed, Is There More? You can go to shepublishingllc.com and buy it there. And with that, you also get a special gift package that comes with it.
And for the book that you're promoting right now, you said your major inspiration for this book is your younger brother, Delvin.
Yes.
Watching him evolve into being a successful businessman. Now, tell us about that. He's also co-owner of the Be Blessed Culture with you.
No, he has his own company, Seabreeze Non-Emergency Medical Transport.
Okay.
My brother was a high school basketball star.
Okay.
Who hurt his knee while playing basketball. He had D1 colleges come and look at him. He had actually I think he had signed with the University of Nebraska to go to college and play basketball.
Okay.
But once he blew out his knee, that kind of set him back. And then he started, getting in the streets. He was selling drugs, went to prison for selling drugs. Now he's out and he's got $1 million business.
Oh, praise the Lord. Look at God.
He did, him and his wife did the work. They stayed together throughout the time that he was in prison. She did everything she could to while he was there.
Yeah.
And once he got out, he found a job, and then they started their own business. Now he owns the business. It doesn't work for anybody else.
Now they have a fleet of vehicles.
Yeah. They started out with one vehicle. Now they have like 20.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So that just goes to show, again, once the Lord has a plan for you, it doesn't matter how much things, and that phrase people say, life be life, and it doesn't matter how much life be life, and in the middle of it, the Lord is still going to bring back around what he has planned for you. And those are just some amazing testimonies right there of the Lord doing just that. Well, I just want to say thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight on the Stephanie M. Seton Sunday Show. This has been amazing getting to talk to you and hearing your amazing story, the books, the clothing line, the ministry. You guys are doing some amazing things, and I just encourage you to continue. What would you like to say tonight in closing?
I would like to say that if you have it in your heart to forgive, truly forgive someone, you can overcome anything. Absolutely anything. But you have to have it in your heart to forgive.
Yeah.
And I think for me, as the song says, it's not over until God says it's over.
That's right.
It's truly not. As long as you still have breath in your life, there's always room for redemption. There's always room for forgiveness, for you to turn things around and make it better. Never give up on yourself. Just keep going, keep living. And if you keep living for God, good things are going to happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes work though, right? It doesn't happen easily, right?
Yeah, it definitely takes work.
Nothing about it is easy.
And it's not always overnight. Sometimes you got to endure the pain in order to get to the good part.
But it's worth it.
Definitely worth it. Let me ask you this. In this trial that you guys went through in your marriage, was the Lord already the foundation of your relationship, or did he come into the relationship more so during that time?
For me, he was always there, but I was still kind of on the fence a little bit, I believe.
Okay.
And it wasn't until the divorce and I was sitting in my bedroom at my parents' house and I began to ask the Lord why. And then he said, why not? Why not you? Who are you that you can't go through something?
Yeah.
And then he had me start looking in the mirror. And so every time I would go to Lisa to try to get back with her, and she would turn me down, the more she turned me down, the more I turned to God. I had keys to the church, so I would go down to the church and just sit at the altar by myself and just pray.
Yeah.
And the more I grew closer to God, the more her heart softened to me, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And before you know it, we were back just being friends again. Before, we weren't even friends.
Yeah.
She didn't want to even talk to me, really.
Yeah.
But I think that took my faith to a whole nother level, because that's all I had to depend on was God at the time. I felt like I lost everything when I lost her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that for me, yes, God was at the foundation, so much so that when I told Royce, when we were headed towards, I didn't think divorce, but when we were headed in the wrong way, and I knew we were going to be empty nesters, I told him, we got to do something, because, our son is going to be gone and we don't know each other. We don't even like each other. Things are bad. And when we dropped him off at college and Royce came home 2 days later from baseball, and I'm like, we got to talk. This is not good. And he told me that we were, the Lord told him that we were to get divorced.
Mm.
And I said, the Lord told you? Yes. You prayed? Yes. This is what he said? Yes. And my next statement was, when are you leaving?
Mm.
Because he told me that the God that I thought we both believed in told him to leave me.
Mm.
And if he told you to do that, my responsibility is to help you be obedient to what God told you to do.
Yeah.
Now, did I believe that the Lord told him that? I didn't believe it. I had not prayed, Lord, are we supposed to get a divorce? And this was a confirmation. This was the first I'm hearing it. So when he told me, yes, I prayed, yes, I heard, and yes, he said. And so I had to, the book says my arms are too short to box with God. He told you to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know how sometimes you have it's a fairy tale made up, but you have the good guy over here and the bad guy over here.
We get it.
Sometimes you can't hear the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Because
Confused.
you're in pain.
Yeah.
And you don't know. I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening. I'm like, okay, if we're not together, we're not already speaking, then she can be happy, then maybe I can be happy.
Right.
And so I thought, truly, at the time, I thought that she would be better off without me, because I was making her miserable.
Right.
So I thought it would have been a release. But the day we got divorced, after the judge signed the papers, I'm like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
And so I immediately went looking for her and couldn't find her. It was like she had disappeared. She was gone.
Yeah.
And so I even called her best friend. Hey, can you check on Lisa? We just went through the divorce, and I don't know where she's at. So it was difficult, but we definitely had to learn how to lean on God even more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even when Lisa, we got the divorce, and bills were due still at the house where she was at. She got a raise that same day.
The day of the divorce. Divine, the day of the divorce. When I went and got divorced over my lunch hour and came back to work.
Yeah, it was part of the process.
Yeah. And when I sat at my desk, I had an email from HR, and that email contained the amount of my very first increase on my job.
Yeah.
And to me, that was God confirming, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
The Lord has a way of doing things. What we think is the train is derailed and it's off the track. We think we've done something to mess up his plan. And there's a seen a sign that said, you are not that powerful to mess up the plan that God has for you. You know, we may deter it, you know, it may take a little bit longer than expected, but it's going to come around. And so just those things that he did, you know, even when we miss it or we think we hear, because, you know, the enemy, you know, he does those distractions is what they are.
yeah.
But the Lord still provided and protected. And, you know, obviously there needed to be a little bit of time there to gather some thoughts and some plans, but also like I was saying before, you didn't know at that point you were going to be birthing a couples ministry.
No.
And so in order for you to birth that couples ministry, you had to go through some things because all you knew was togetherness. You couldn't minister to people, you know, who had been broken up because you hadn't experienced that. But the Lord still came in with financial provision and everything else. And now, you know, you guys are blessed to have the ministry of I Still Do. So, man, amazing, powerful testimony. If you've got a podcast, you need to get these two on your podcast. You need to let this story really be told because this is amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. And God still gets the praise and the glory. Here you guys are here, you know, collectively over 30 years of marriage, still together, still smiling, still looking at her to give you your next word.
Right. Everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Thank you, Royce. Thank you, Lisa, for being here on the Stephanie M. Seton Sunday show tonight. Hopefully you guys will be back in the Texas area and we'll meet again. But thank you guys so much for being on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us and putting us on.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you to all of you that have tuned in tonight for another amazing episode of the Stephanie M. Seton Sunday Show. We will be back on next week, so make sure to tune in on next Tuesday and next Thursday, where we will have another amazing guest on Tuesday night as well as on Thursday night. Have you registered for the Men Hurt 2 conference? And have you registered for the women's conference, Hiding Behind the Lipstick? Both of these conferences will be in the Dallas area. If you have not registered, go to Eventbrite and register now. There's also vendor spaces available if you are interested in being a vendor at either one of these events. So make sure you go online and register. Hiding Behind the Lipstick, Part 3 for women, and Men Hurt 2. You do not want to miss these conferences. Thank you again so much. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemsetontheauthor@gmail.com.